I've got a super duper laptop.
Have you sussed out what it was? Have you sussed out what it was?
No. Well, I have. Yeah, I've thrown it. I've got a town council laptop.
Oh,
because mine's gone. It's finally gone bang, and I don't know why yet. So Delia's lent me a laptop. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Keith,
sorry, people. There's no.
Keith, what? Keith, did you have one run out of gas?
Yeah, more or less one. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, Chairman, we're live now. When you, it's not quite past, but we are ready to start at past, which is only a few seconds away, I think.
Right. What I'll ask members to do is introduce themselves. Someone started that a little while ago, and I thought it was an excellent idea, introducing ourselves to the public. Anyone may be watching. So we'll continue it tonight. Shall we start then? Is that okay with everyone?
Yes, yes, indeed. Yeah.
Let me start with myself. I'm Keith Ely, and I'm chair of the Finance Committee. We go across the top. Richard?
My name's Councillor Richard Graham. I'm Vice Chairman of the Council.
Ron?
My name's Ron Hain, and I'm a Town Councillor.
Eamon?
My name's Eamon O'Rourke. I'm Town Councillor for Fenny Strap.
Ed?
Hi, I'm Ed Hume. I'm a Town Councillor on this council, representing part of the Lakes Estate, and I'm on this committee along with a whole load of other committees.
And Ethan?
Hi, I'm Nathaniel Kelly-Wilson, and I'm a Town Councillor for Newton Lees and a member of this committee.
Thank you very much, and welcome to any members of the general public who are joining
us. Chairman.
Oh. Delia. Can I resign now, please, Delia? Delia, please.
Well, there's two women on this meeting, and I think we should go to the female councillor first.
Actually, I can't see Marie on the.
She is on the screen, Chair.
I can't see. Oh, she's appeared now. Marie first. I've done it already. I've already missed you. Marie, please start.
I can't stop laughing. Marie Weimer, Councillor for Lakes Estate on the Water Eaton South Ward.
Thank you. Delia.
And I'm not a councillor, I'm Delia Shephard, and I'm the clerk to the council.
What a marvellous start to the meeting. Delia, are there any apologies, please?
Yes, we have apologies for absence from councillors Kennedy and MacDonald.
Okay. Item 2 on the agenda, members' declarations of interest. Are there any? No? Okay, thank you. Item 3, minutes of the previous meeting. If we can go to that, go page by page. Page 1, page 2, page 3, and page 4. Okay, we'll take those as a true record of the meeting, and I'll sign those when it's possible. Thank you.
Sorry, I've just noticed something. At the top, I can't remember what we do when we have members of the public. Do we list how many members of the public were at the meeting or not? I can't remember what we need to do now.
No. A good practice guidance is not to include members' names. The way the minutes work now, since we've moved on to modern Gov, is that they pick up automatically who's present, and so visitors get picked up, but members of the public don't. So we don't record the number of people who are present at the meeting. I mean, obviously we don't know how many people are watching on YouTube in any event.
Item 4, public speaking time. Do we have any notifications, Delia?
No, nobody's registered to speak at tonight's meeting.
Okay. Item 5, planning applications. Item 1, 53 Mill Road, Bletchley.
Sorry,
Any
Chairman.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm late. I should have declared that there is an item on the agenda for which is 5V. I am I'm getting confused now. I'm a personal license holder in the Milton Keynes Licensing Authority, but I'm not attached to a premises, and I don't have a pecuniary interest, and I will be voting on the issue.
Thank you, Ethan. Noted. If any member becomes aware of a personal interest in an item, then let us know when it occurs. Thank you. Item.
Sorry, Chair. I'm also a licensee in the Milton Keynes area, but I haven't got no pecuniary interest and will be voting on this matter.
Okay. Thank you, Richard. Continue then. Item 5.2, 72 Eaton Avenue, Bletchley. Any comments for that?
Chair, did we deal with 53 Mill Road?
No.
Yeah. But that was the first one we did.
Yes, I didn't think we'd completed it.
Well, I asked for any comment on it.
Oh, I
Any
beg your
comment?
pardon. I'm sorry, I was behind then.
Any comment on it? Okay. 2, 72 Eaton Avenue, Bletchley. Any comment on 2?
No.
Thank you. Item 3, 2 Dynasty Mews, Bletchley. Any comment on that one? Thank you. On 4 Eaton Lees, Galley Lane, Little Brick Hill. Any comment? Okay, thank you. 5 Chorus Hotels, 1 Auckland Park. Any comment on that one?
This is the licensing matter,
Yep.
Chair, as is the next one. I'm sorry that I've got mixed up in the middle of the planning.
Yep.
Okay.
Isn't terribly clear, but it's just so that your members have got the opportunity to make objections if they've got good grounds on which to make them.
Yep. Item 6, Dina International, 2A Cambridge Street. Any comments on that one?
Yes, Keith, yeah.
On Ron.
Yeah, I've already put a complaint in about that place because what they're asking for is a license and the hours. Those hours that you can see there, they've now cut them back to less than what they asked for. And I've also put in a complaint because it's the building, they want to have live music and discos, recorded music. And I don't feel the place is suitable for that sort of thing. It's not been soundproofed. It's only just been a quick lick of paint all over it. I can't see a fire exit at the back. And I've had complaints from residents, and residents have also complained to licensing as well. So I think we as a council, we should say, yeah, and also on the parking, there's no parking there at all. So as a council, I think we should knock this, say no, as it stands at the moment. I don't know if anyone else has got any comments.
Chair, if I may, if I can just interject, we've had no objections or any complaints about these premises from residents whatsoever to the town council.
They've gone straight to Milton Keynes. I made sure of that.
I'm just passing on to members the intelligence that we've received, which is that nobody has made any complaints about these premises.
And if you like, I can read out what license sent back.
I think
I've got to find it first.
We're all together here. Can we just discipline ourselves a bit, one at a time? The town council, it's difficult for us to proceed with any objections on other behalf. So it's as well that they come to us in the future. Delia.
You're breaking up.
Right.
We're having some difficulties with your internet connection. I think it is a bit unstable. Councillor Graham's indicating that he wishes to speak, Chair.
Okay. Richard?
Just want to say, Councillor Haynes, if you did have an objection, you'd have to object under 4 licensing objectives and not anything else. You would have to sort of like, there's 4 licensing objections that you can make an application to Milton Keynes Council on, which is keeping children from harm, noise nuisance, and there's two other objections. So it would have to be under them grounds that
Yeah.
you put an objection within?
Ron?
It was on noise nuisance because it hasn't been soundproofed at all, and it is, and also there's health and safety. There's no fire exit from upstairs, and as I said, and they've also said with the parking, there's no place for them to. If you've got 150, 200 people, there's nowhere to park.
I mean, Ron, this is a licensing application,
Yeah.
not a planning application.
No,
not
exactly.
a parking issue.
It all comes under the same thing.
Can I just remind everyone that the paperwork is actually in the pack? It's there. It's on page
31.
30. Page 30 shows you the 4 grounds on which you can object, which are crime and disorder, public safety, public nuisance, and protection of children from harm. And if you notice the top of the page, it says, please indicate the grounds on which the objection is made and outline details and any evidence that you have.
Yeah,
if we make an objection, if I could just finish, sorry to interrupt you, Councillor. If we make an objection, we need to send a representative from the Town Council to the licensing hearing to make the objection on our behalf. And we need to be satisfied that we have good evidence to provide to the licensing committee. Otherwise, it's a matter for you to decide which of those grounds and what evidence you have.
If you like, I can read out the email I got back today from licensing, and it's from David Novell. Is that how you pronounce it?
I'm not sure how. The issue that the council's been asked to determine is whether or not you have good grounds for objecting as a council. Well, not what the licensing officer's saying. It's about whether you as a council have grounds to object.
Well, obviously it's on noise, because there's going to be so much noise up there, and they're right opposite houses, so it's on noise.
Can I just clarify as a licensee, just what the position is that if we haven't got no evidence and they're applying for a license, it has to be evidence based over quite a long period of time. That evidence needs to be documented and catalogued, if you know what I mean. And we have to have proof for us to object under any of the grounds. And at the moment, as the clerk has said, we haven't had any objections come into the council regarding these premises. And we have got to be very, very careful on objecting on a licensing matter unless you have got grounds to object under the 4 licensing objectives. So
okay.
Be careful as a council.
Okay, Delia, can you advise the committee? Well, I was going to ask is that, do they currently have a license for live music?
No.
I don't.
Well, hang on. Let the clerk answer, Ron.
I don't believe they do, because if you look at the terms of the license application, it would appear that they don't have a license for music and dance.
Right. Thank you. So it's difficult having.
Chair, Councillor Kelly Wilson is indicating.
Yeah.
Chairman.
And
sorry, thank you, Chairman. I have read the operating schedule, which is available on the Milton Keynes Council licensing website. The application for is first and foremost for a restaurant, which will include the sale of consumption of alcohol on the premises during business hours as its site, and any kind of regulated entertainment, which includes music or dance, will be supplementary to that. It's right opposite another restaurant. It's right next door to a restaurant. I cannot see any licensing issue which would not exist for the other premises. So I think it's going to be very difficult to object to this license. This license is not for a nightclub. It is for a restaurant, and there is a restaurant next door and one directly opposite it.
right. Does anyone else want to come in? Ron has put a proposal forward. Richard, last time,
just to be clear about live music, all licensed premises, as I understand it, are allowed to have live music up until about 11 o'clock. Anything past that, then you'd have to have a special license. Just to
Right.
clarify.
Okay. Ron has put a proposal forward. Is there a second to that proposal? If there's not a second, then the proposal falls. Right. I'm sorry, Ron. That proposal falls.
That's fine. That's fine.
So that we have no comment, Delia. Thank you. Item 7, Sir Herbert Leon Academy, Fern Grove. Solar panels on the roof. Any comment?
No.
Yes.
Councillor Hugh.
Yep.
I think we should support this. We have as the council declared a climate emergency in Bletchley, and I think any organisation that is making these sort of changes to look at new ways, green ways of gaining energy, I think it's a positive for the town. I think this particular site, if you're coming through on the train line, you get a great view of Leon School, and to see the solar panels there will be a great indication of the direction that we are going in as a town and as a city of Milton Keynes.
Yep.
Support it.
Very good point, Ed. Thank you. So we wish to support this application. Is that it? Those in favour? Can you show? Anyone against? Any abstentions? That's carried. Thank you, Delia. Item 8 on the agenda, 3 Cambridge Street, Bletchley. Any comment? No, thank you. And the final one is item 9, 86 Queensway, Bletchley. Any comment on that one? No, right, thank you. So we get to item 6, financial management information showing income and expenditure for this current year up to the 28th of February. Is there anything you wish to bring to our attention, Delia?
Yes, I was going to mention the issue that we talked about this afternoon, which is the community infrastructure funding, which is at 411. I think it's on page 6.
It's on page 6 of the report. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it looks as though we've got a lot of income there, and I looked into it this afternoon to see what was happening. There was an accrual of £9,000 carried forward from the last financial year into the current financial year, and I just need to research into that and just make sure, just clarify what that accrual was. The spending that there is some expenditure that's been undertaken this year on that cost centre, which was costs from the income of 3,496 with the late payment of the community infrastructure project from the preceding years. That was a late payment from Milton Keynes Council. And the expenditure that we've undertaken were again the last bits of spending on the community infrastructure projects for the previous year, which were if you remember, the tables and the flowers outside the library and the benches at the War Memorial. So we would be expecting to make another accrual because the project that was due to take place this year, which is the gateway signs, was deferred to the next year by Milton Keynes Council because of the COVID pandemic. They didn't undertake any of their community infrastructure highways projects. So there is a little bit of an anomaly there. I've looked carefully at the purchase and sales ledger, and I just need to invest, and those the transactions seem to me correct. It's just I need to look into the journal and the accrual from last year and just see if I can establish why we undertook that accrual. So there's a bit of an anomaly there.
Okay, Ed, do you want to come in? You're on mute. You're still on mute, Ed.
I seem to press the button twice there. Just a question for the clerk. I've noticed that at the bottom of the report, or the management information report on 69, there's a movement to and from general reserves. So a movement to general reserves of £227,000. Do we have an update on what we expect that to be at the year end? But I suppose it shouldn't be too much lower than that because we've only got a month to go.
There'll be two. There'll be two salary. There'll be one salary payment to go out. There are some other decisions that have been made about additions to earmarked reserves, which are not reflected in this report. But it will not be dramatically different. I haven't actually done a forecast this month based on this month's figures, but it will not be. I don't think it could be anything below 150,000 for sure.
We were looking before, weren't we, at about 163,000. So it's going to be up here around.
I think it will be around that mark.
Yeah. That was your first estimate, if you like, of the surplus. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Ed, on that one?
No, that's absolutely fine. Thank you for that, Delia.
Cheers, Ed. Right, so that's that one. So now we get to the balance sheet for the 28th of February. Any comment on that one? No? Okay, thank you.
Actually, could I?
Yes,
sorry, could I comment on the balance sheet? Members will be aware that I sent out some additional information from CCLA by email this week about the possibility that the public sector deposit fund, which we invest in, that the fact that there is the potential for that to go into a negative yield situation in the coming year. I sent out two pieces of correspondence. I'm not sure if you received them. There was a letter explaining that this might happen, and then subsequently there was an FAQ sheet answering specific questions. This is a reflection of current market conditions. If the expenses of running the public sector deposit fund exceed the income from the fund, which is possible, then it's possible that not only would we not generate any interest, but we might actually lose from this situation. And I really needed to draw this possibility to your attention as a finance committee. I see that Councillor Kelly Wilson's waiting to speak.
Yep. Okay, Ethan.
Thank you, Chairman. I was just going to say, have they given any idea of the kind of level, or is it just an issue at the moment? I mean, I think the conversation that we've had before around CCLA is actually we are with them for a position of security, but if it's going to significantly erode our investment our capital, then that is, I feel, a really strong issue for the council.
Yeah, thank you, Ethan. I seem to remember, Delia, that the cost of the administration of the fund was something about 0.08% was in your memo, which is I must admit is very, very low. But it's a thing that we must keep our eye on at the moment. But until it happens, or we get notification of it happening, perhaps we leave it where it is.
One option that you could consider, which we've sort of looked at before, I mean, there's a substantial sum in there, and it depends how soon that you think you might need to draw on that cash, because as well as security, we've also considered liquidity, and we've kept everything as liquid as possible. But the CCLA do have a property fund which could be invested in. Now that is the I don't know, I haven't researched at this stage what the likely yield is from that, but it was holding up reasonably well at the beginning of the pandemic. but there's no point and it may be worth looking at that again to see if that would give a higher yield. But because there are charges for going in and selling when you come out, there's no point looking at that unless you're prepared to leave the money in there for 3 or 4 years. So, but it might be worth looking at again.
Well, I think we should look at all the possibilities then, and we can consider it with the members' wish then to consider it at a more appropriate time when we have the details and we consider what is the best course for the council to take. Is that okay? Ethan, your hand is up. Do you want to?
I was just going to say, I think that we discussed an item on the last full council, and I believe there's some conversations taking place this week around one of those agenda items. And I think that we should keep our funds liquid until that point. I work with a final salary pension scheme as part of the day job who had a significant amount in property, and it is one of the most difficult areas to exit, and we've only been able to exit 9 months after we made the decision to do so. So I think at this moment in time we should see through that other item before we commit to putting anything into property.
I'll certainly second that. Is that a formal position for the council to take? Those that agree. Is anyone against? No. Okay. Thank you.
Otherwise, is the balance sheet noted, please?
They're noted. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Delia. We then come to item 8, Council's cash and investment and reconciliation. Any comment on that one, Delia?
No comments, except as was being discussed before the meeting started formally, Councillor Graham is coming into the council to check the bank statements against the reconciliations next week, which, you know, that has not been done as frequently as it was being done before this period of this second period of lockdown that started in January. So we'll get up to date with all that next week.
Okay, thank you. Now then, to ratify a list of payments to be made or due to be made. Any comments on that? No comment? Okay, thank you. Item 10, asset register. Delia.
Yes, these I did update the pack, I'm afraid, very late in the day because Alison has been working on the asset register. I don't know if you've got the updated pack in front of you, but if you have, that you will see that there's a list of items, quite an extensive list of items that have been added to the asset register during the course of the year. But if you notice that a lot of these items, they're registered at a value of £1, and that is because a lot of this is furniture which came into the council's possession following the vacation of the premises at Queensway by the tenant, the then tenant. Then following that sheet, there's a list of disposals, and then you've got the current assets by location and a total finally on the final page.
Okay.
I think
Thank
Councillor Hume's indicating, Chair.
Yep. Ed?
Just a question, other than the summary of assets by location. There's a location called Bletchley and Fenny Stratford. What do we mean by that? Because we've got Bletchley Library Office and we've got Bletchley and Fenny Stratford. And as a small point and a pedantic point, George Street Community Centre probably should be renamed. Yeah,
it won't be renamed on the system yet. I need to check whether that. Oh, it will be. No, I don't know what that is. I need to check that. I need to check how it's been done by location. I'll go back on that one.
Okay. Anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Ed? No. Anyone else want to come in on the item? Otherwise, we'll note the report. Thank you, Delia. Item 11. Arrangements to be made for the internal audit for this current year.
Yes, we will be going into the audit period. Obviously, at the end of this month, we'll be going into the audit period for the financial year's just finished, but we need to confirm the arrangements for the next financial year. My assumption is that the review of the effectiveness of the internal audit that was done before Christmas, after the mid-year internal audit had been done, that was satisfactory. So I'm assuming that the council is happy to roll on the existing arrangements with Auditing Solutions Limited. The engagement letter that we've entered into with them just rolls on from year to year until such times as we tell them that we want to use an alternative auditor. So I'm assuming that with the sort of year that it's been, that you would probably want to carry on for the sake of continuity, and because we're satisfied with the well, you've indicated that you're satisfied with the effectiveness of the internal controls. So my proposal is just to invite them to perform the audit again on the same terms as before. But if you wish to alter the scope of the audit or draw the external auditor's attention to anything in particular, then if you could let me know, that can be included in my confirmation that we want them to undertake next year's audit.
Right. Any comment from any member? No. Okay. Well, so we will continue then. Is it agreed that we continue with our current auditor for this current for the year 21-22? Those in favour?
Yeah.
Those against? Right. That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 12. To confirm signature of the review of the internal controls.
Yes, that's, to be honest, that's on the agenda just to remind me as much as anything else that this piece of work was done and council did approve the review of the internal controls, but it's still that the document still needs to be signed by Councillor Kennedy and Councillor MacDonald because they agreed to sign on behalf of the committee, and it hasn't actually been done yet. We need to get that done before the end of the financial year, but it's on my list of things to do. At this stage, it's still not done, but hopefully I'll be able to report that it is done on the next occasion.
Okay, thank you. Now, item 13, to agree arrangements for cleaning contract at Albus Street Public Conveniences.
Yes, there's a report from the Environment and Premises Manager, which is at page 99.
Yeah.
Happy to answer any questions.
My only comment is that the extension to the contract will take us beyond the finance available allocated by the council so far, which is a problem. We'll have a contract lasting longer than the finances available to do it. Any comments from any members?
No.
Right, so how do we proceed now? Is it possible, Delia, to do a 1 month rolling contract from the end of this contract with the cleansing contractor?
Well, what we've got is what the Environment and Premises Manager has been able to negotiate with the existing provider. We asked them if they would continue for 6 months, or if they would be prepared to carry on a rolling basis, and this is the offer that's come back: 6 months and then a rolling basis.
Yeah, the trouble is it takes us 9 months into the financial year, doesn't it? We've only agreed, or the council has only agreed so far, a 6 month funding for it.
That's correct. That's why it's on the agenda.
Yep. So, any members? What do we go back to the cleansing contractor and ask them for a 1 month rolling contract? Any comment from any member?
I think the risk with that, Chair, is that if we have to give them notice in the next few days, and then come the 18th of July, we may not have anybody willing to clean the toilets.
That's the
risk.
That was my purpose of asking them now whether they are prepared to go for a 1 month rolling contract from the end of I think it's July, isn't it, the contract ends?
Yeah, 18th of July.
Yeah. A 1 month rolling contract from the 18th of July. Put that as a proposal to them rather than a 6 month contract. Anyone else want to have any ideas what they want to do? No?
No.
Right. Well, then
But Ron's indicating.
Go on then, Ron.
Yeah, could we be jumping the gun though, saying we might not have a toilet in 6 months' time? It's not the right thing to be saying, is it really? So surely, if we have a 6 months contract and a rolling 1 month after that should suffice, Because to be truthful, I had to have some gas people in there, so I didn't have a toilet used. So me and the wife had to use the main toilet, and we was quite surprised how clean and nice it was. She was very surprised, my wife. She said, "I've never seen a public toilet look so clean." So we will be proud of ourselves on that anyway.
I do agree with you, Ron, fully, but that's not the point. The point is that we have agreed to fund the toilets for 6 months, but in other words, until the end of October, sorry, the end of September, and the contract with the cleansing contractor on its current basis will go on for 9 months and not 6.
Can I come back in there, Keith? But that 6 months is only we put the money in for that, but that's pending. We've got a referendum to go through, or to see what the people want, because the people might still want it.
I fully accept that, Ron, but I'm saying to you, at the moment, council has agreed 6 months funding for the communities. If the referendum and if the council agrees to extend that, fine. Then the money will have to be found. But as it stands at the moment, we will be extending a contract beyond the agreed payment budget period. I put forward then that we will ask the contractor for a 1 month rolling contract from the end of its current end contract of the 18th of July. Do I have a second of that proposal?
Yeah, I'll second that, Keith.
Right. Right. Those in favour? The 3.
I think that's carried. I saw 5 votes.
I'm sorry, because I've only got part of people's on my screen. I can't get all members at the same time.
I think five councillors voted in favour of that. And obviously, if that's the case, it's carried. But I would just like to warn councillors that we may not have a cleaner after the 16th of July. The current cleaning contractor has done a really good job, as has been said, with the toilets. We had a member of staff who'd been tupied from one contractor to another several times. This cleaning contractor that we've got at the moment is the only contractor who's been able to sort of resolve the issues that we had and deal with us in a way that that we found acceptable, and get the toilets up to a standard that we found acceptable. It may be that they will agree to the terms that you're putting forward, but all I can tell you is that this report that has been prepared by the Environment and Premises Manager says that this is what he's been able to negotiate with them. So the risk is that we may find that we need to find a cleaning contractor in July, and we will have lost the opportunity to retain this one. That's all I'm saying.
Well, in response to that, we have another 3 meetings of the Finance Committee between now and July. Therefore, we have 3 chances. Hopefully, we will get a referendum result. The council will make a decision on whether it's going to be 6 months or it's going to keep the toilets open all the time. And in that period of time, we can then ask the contract, let the contract for 6 months or not. we will then know the answer. Ed.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into why I think it's a shame that we're having this discussion. But I think we need to understand. I mean, if we can't get anything else, we need to be looking and considering what we need to be doing for the contract, and keeping working on negotiating that and taking that as an offer to the contractor. What I would there is just one point that I just want to correct, and it's the point about terminology, and it's the use of the word referendum. It's actually a consultation that we've asked for. A referendum is a very, very different piece of but it is a piece of consultation effectively, but it's a very, very different piece of consultation that requires
fully accepted, Ed. Yes, thank you. I do agree with you. Okay, so that is for Will to try and renegotiate with our.
Yeah, and we'll come back with the outcome of that negotiation on the next occasion.
Thank you very much. Item 14, update on the COVID marshalling funding. Well, we have the report. I think it should be up to members now to decide what they wish to do. The responsibility is, the decision has been referred to us, the Finance Committee, from Council. Therefore, we need to make a decision tonight. Can I ask members now to give their views? Ed first.
I think we should use the £6,000 as suggested in this report. So I would want to, I think it's really important that we're supporting these places and organisations, because within them there's a lot of people who use those organisations, or a part of them, who are what's the word I'm looking for? Where COVID has been particularly affecting those communities. So I'd propose that we use the £6,000 to go to the free mosque, Bletchley Mosque, Milton Keynes, to me, a Milton Keynes Mosque on Duncombe Street, and the Mount Farm Mosque as well. So that's a proposal for that. Granby, I believe, and West Bletchley Council are going to be supporting.
Right. Anyone else wishes to come in? Ethan. Ethan?
Sorry, very similar. I think that we should support it. I think the evidence suggests that the need is there for these communities. For Ed's proposal, I'll second that.
Okay. That would be the use of 6,000. What would you wish to do with the other 4? Ron?
Couldn't we share that amongst the schools or the other religious buildings that could do with it?
Well, what I was going to can I suggest that we, in fact, use the remainder for, in fact, using COVID wardens or marshals, whatever we wish to call them, to inform people. I think one of the problems that we may be facing is that as we come out of the lockdown process, I think people may be getting relaxed about the restrictions, and therefore I think it may be helpful to employ these people to keep the education side going, keep the information going to them of what the current regulations are, and therefore we could have people out there issuing face masks or leaflets and reminding people of the current regulations that exist. Ron?
Well, other places have tried this, and people don't like to see the marshals. They get abused. It's not a way to go. It's failed in a number of places. Even the police now are pulling back, you know, on the way they're doing it. The Metropolitan Police said we're now pulling back on stopping people breaking COVID regulations. I would think the money would be better spent given to the schools and the other religious buildings, personally, than having someone walk around in a high-vis jacket telling somebody what people should know anyway and getting a load of abuse for doing it. You know, that's my opinion anyway. You know, it's up to the rest of the council what they think, but that's my opinion.
I agree with Ron.
Okay, thank you, Eamon. Anyone else? Ethan?
My proposal would be, so I think a lot of the other religious buildings are closed, and many other churches have decided to remain closed until later on in the year. I think that the council, I think that the remainder of the money could perhaps be used towards a leaflet campaign to go through every door in Bletchley and Fenny Stratford, and kind of reminding the kind of messages, the key messages that are on there, because I think that a lot of the messages are made on social media channels, and I think that, you know, in terms of the three groups that we'd identified, there were people who were older, there were people who were kind of very young, and there were people potentially from a BAME community. So I think that's one idea.
Okay, thank you, Ethan. Ed?
Can we let the clerk go first? Because I think she's been ready to say something for the last few people. I'll welcome her comments, and then can I have my comment?
Well, just to say that any alternatives but use of the funding will need to be checked with Milton Keynes Council. So, for example, the proposal to give it to schools, I'd have to check whether Milton Keynes Council were agreeable to that, and I suspect that there are statutory reasons why there wouldn't be. If I can just draw your attention to the wording of the resolution that was passed at full council, which is in your report, and it says that a report on the work to date and potential uses of the remaining funding was considered. It was resolved that the partnership work with the public health and CCG be continued, and that's what this work is with the mosques, that's that work, that be continued. And it was further resolved that decisions on this spending be delegated to the Finance Committee on the 9th of March. So you're not committed by full council to make a decision about the remaining 4,000 at this point. But that, because what was delegated was to make decisions about the spending on this particular strand of work with the CCG and the public health.
Okay, I'll come to you in a minute, Ed. I can see you. Can we, I think there's a fair amount of agreement on the proposal that's been put forward to us, and it's been seconded. If we can vote on that issue, and then if you want further discussion on the remaining funding, we can then continue with that. So can we just vote first on the proposal that's been put forward now, which is that we put funding, the allocated funding to the four groups. Those in favour?
Okay, can I before we vote?
Oh, sorry. So it was your proposal, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I just want to confirm exactly what you said, because I think let's misunderstand it. It's the three mosques, because the Granby Mosque is going to be supported by West Bletchley Council.
Yes.
Yes. Right, yeah.
Just clarifying the proposal, okay?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for the clarification, Ed. Yeah. All right. Those in favour of that proposal. Can you see everyone, Delia?
Yes, I think we've definitely got 5 in favour. I think 6 in favour, and I think Councillor O'Rourke is either voting against or abstaining.
Those you're against, okay, right, Emma. Okay, that's carried. Now then, so we've just considered now the additional funding, another £6,000. Any proposals for that?
It's £4,000, Chair.
I wish I could count. £4,000.
I thought you was putting 2,000 out your own pocket for a minute.
I'm not having a good night tonight, am I? £4,000. Any proposals from anyone? Ed, you're off first.
I pressed the mute button again, sorry. I was quite interested in Ethan's idea about a flyer, and I wonder whether that could be something that we could explore further by offering something to full council on the next week. The other thing I would just say on the flyer is it's not just also about the COVID message. I think there's a message about where people can get support for the food bank and the community larder, and I think that's going to be really important, especially if we're not quite sure what's going to happen with evictions and all of that sort of stuff, so things could get very messy quite soon. So support for where people can get help and the wellbeing service as well. That's quite
Thank you. Yeah. So you're suggesting we create, or a leaflet is created to highlight the services that are available to people, food larder and so on.
Yeah, I think possibly make it two-sided, so you have one side about where people can get help, and the other side about the COVID social distancing measures. Okay. Right. Yeah. Well, I will second that proposal. I think it's excellent.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Right. Any other?
Councillor Weimer's indicating.
All right. Sorry. Yes, Marie.
Thank you. I was just going to say some of what Ed just said, but also if you ever thought about all the different, I know I run a community group, so I'll just say that first, but there's a lot of community groups about across Newton Lees, Lakes Estate, Letchley, all the different communities around, and also the church on Lakes Estate is active, so you could like get them involved as well.
Yeah,
that was it.
Thank you. Just Ethan, do you want to come in?
I was just going to say my proposal, I think it's an idea, and what I'm expecting is not to decide tonight, but to give the staff team some freedom to kind of work with these ideas and come back with a firmer proposal, really. But yeah, I wanted to highlight as an idea rather than a decision.
If I can indicate that there is actually, in a way, there is less than £4,000 left, because we have already produced such leaflets and we have already deployed the rangers and other members of the staff team to promote social distancing on Queensway and in the centre of Bletchley particularly. And we can do more of that work, as is being suggested tonight, to use up the balance of the funds. I feel confident that we can. We've now got an amount of money that we can reasonably use internally to do this work. If it involves, if people are aware of other groups or organisations that need help with that aspect of social distancing, then please let me know and we'll see if we can incorporate them into the work that we're doing, if you're minded to go down that route.
Right. Ed, are you prepared to accept that as an amendment?
Well, I think he even had an initial proposal about a leaflet. I kind of support that idea. With the addition, because actually I think it's something that's actually we need the officers to do and to work up. But I was just throwing some ideas out there. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Well, Ethan, is that acceptable to you?
It's acceptable to me.
Right. So those in favour of that suggestion, so that proposal, and Delia's suggestion amendment to it, if you like. Those in favour? Can you see everyone, Delia?
Yes, that's carried.
Right, thank you very much.
Unanimous.
Thank you, members. Item 15. Fenny Stratford Community Centre. Oh, is it?
The market, isn't it? 15.
I beg your pardon. Right, 15.
I wish it was Fenny Stratford Community Centre, because it's I'm not looking forward to reporting on the market.
Right.
Members will remember that we agreed last year that we would look at relocating the market in Stanley Square. And there were several reasons for that. It was considered a good idea to bring all the stalls together. There were issues about vehicles on pavements where there were services underneath, and so on and so forth. But it was understood that if the market was to be relocated on Stanley Square, we would need new, we may need additional electricity pillars. And we put forward a proposal to Milton Keynes Council asking for permission for 2 new electrical pillars to go on Stanley Square to help us locate all the market stalls there. At the same time as we did that, we'd agreed that we would continue with the market stalls in their current locations, which is where they were placed during the period of the road closure. And it was agreed that electrical columns would be put in as part of, down at the bottom end of Queensway, as part of the COVID restriction, social distancing encouragement that happened when the road closure was there. The pillars have gone in, but they've never been connected to the electricity supply. So still, here we are in March, and our market traders are still being connected to ringway lighting columns in order to be able to do their business down at the bottom of Queensway. Our regular traders, the 2 Italian, the Baker and the Italian deli, are not keen on their current location. They don't mind it during the winter, but when it gets warmer, they want to be able to be sideways on rather than parallel to the pavement as they are at the moment. We've had interest from some of our former traders in coming back, and the town council's own roadmap, which we've prepared, which aligns with the government roadmap for the resumption of the different services that we offer, indicates that we should be reopening the market to all traders, all non-essential traders, on the 12th of April. And I don't have, if we have more market traders come back, we don't have enough room for them where they are at the moment at the bottom of Queensway, with these columns that are not yet connected. So we've been chasing Milton Keynes Council about Stanley Square, and it's proved to be more complicated than originally thought. I chased it up, and both Will and I chased this up towards the end of February, and we were told that Milton Keynes Council were really very overloaded. The progress with this project had been slower than they'd expected due to the loss of both Ringway's street lighting manager and the divisional manager for Ringways. And we are continuing to press for this to be sorted out. But I wanted to report to you that I don't feel we're in a good position to be ready for the 12th of April to welcome back any additional traders who've left but who may want to come back and are hoping to return to their locations on the pavement along Queensway. It may be that we can accommodate some of them, provided Milton Keynes Council agrees to these locations, but we're not, based on the experience with the electrical columns at the bottom end of Queensway down by Elizabeth Square. I don't see us getting the columns at the top end of Queensway in Stanley Square between now and the 12th of April. It just isn't going to happen, I don't believe. So I need to report that to you and take any further instructions that you wish to give me.
Right. Thank you, Delia, for that. A question to you. Is it possible for us to relocate the market on a temporary basis back to the original position along Queensway between basically Brooklands Road and Stanley Square, where they were before, as a temporary basis?
I think we won't be able to put that. My understanding is that we won't be able to put people back exactly where they were before, but I think we might be able to accommodate it like that on a temporary basis. Because
the electrical power is down there, isn't it? It's in that section already, in the columns.
It is in the column. It is in the pillars that are already there, and those pillars have been upgraded. They've been repaired, and they are functional.
Right, Eamon.
Well, it's just a point. I don't know what's going on with street lighting, but for 12 weeks now, I've been trying to get the lights working in Victoria Road. They got them working last week, apart from 2. And then last week, just after that, they finished. they started making good around the lamppost. And I said to the engineer who came out, why are you backfilling it? You haven't even connected it yet on these last 2 lampposts. And he says, well, yes, we have. And I said, no, you haven't. They don't come on at night. And when he checked, Eon hadn't connected them to the power. So they don't seem to know what's going on unless a member of the public tells them. And I don't think it's right. You're not going to get anything done by the way they're carrying on now.
Okay, so I mean, we have, as far as I'm aware, we have planning permission for the market to take place in its original position along Queensway. That's never been revoked.
No, we've still got the license. We've still got that license.
Right. So why don't we as a council relocate the market back to its original position? We have all the permissions we require, and it will give us sufficient space to put the additional market traders if and when they come along. And that will be a temporary arrangement prior to getting back into Stanley Square. That's a proposal that I would make. Eamon, you want to come back?
I'll second.
Thank you, Richard. Eamon, you wanted to come in?
No, I was going to second it.
Oh, right. No. Anyone else want to come in?
I do, Keith.
Right, okay.
Keith?
Yeah, go on, Ron.
Well, shouldn't we be getting the ward councillors involved in this? Because if Milton Keynes are taking their time, shouldn't we get the ward councillors involved and see if they can chase them around there and get them moving a little bit quicker? Because that's what they're here for. If we can't get things moving, then they're the next step up to get things moving for us, surely.
Well, let's try and make a decision tonight, Ron, on where we want the market to put, and we can then start chasing whoever we have to chase to get things moving for Stanley Square. That's where we want them to go. So if we can agree the first stage, Ron, we can then agree whatever you need to push whoever we need to push to get the location into Stanley Square. Any other comments? Eamon, can you take your hand down?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, right. There's a proposal and a seconder. Any other comment? No. Okay. Those in favour of that proposal. Delia, can you see everyone?
Yeah, that's unanimous, Chair.
Right. Thank you, members. Now we're on to item 16, yes?
Yes, the last one.
Which is the Fenny Stratford Community Centre, IT.
Yes, there's a report on page 103 and there's a drawing on page 104. This is just, we don't have the full costs yet. We just wanted to get a steer from the committee. There's been a site meeting today at the premises. I don't know the outcome of that yet. And we're waiting for some more feedback from ACS. But basically, the proposal is that we use this room that's circled in red on the map as the location for the PC and the IT cabinet that we will need to introduce to the community centre if we want to be able to run the Paxton door system, the CCTV and the alarm system and have a base where a member of staff can work and operate. That seems like the most suitable room and the one that is least likely to be used for other purposes, as it's the least ideal for storage, really. So right. Just to take a view on that, I mean, obviously you're going to need costs for this IT infrastructure to support the other things that you've already decided that you want, but it's just to get a steer, really.
So it's an agreement in principle. Is that what we're after?
Yeah.
Right. Anyone wants to come in on this? Richard.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to have the computer system set up, because we definitely need to get the CCTV camera situation sorted out and make sure that the place is fit for purpose. Bringing the IT system up to scratch, just in case we need to do what we need to do as a new community centre in our parish. So it's essential that we get this piece of work done.
Thank you, Richard. Ethan and Ed.
Thank you, Chairman. I was just going to say, I didn't see anything in the report about connection to fibre, but I recommend that if it's in the street, that we kind of get this added to the implementation, because obviously we've had experiences at Newton Lees about not having fibre, and I think that that's the way to go. And I'm just guessing on the location of it that the fibre would come in at the front of the premises, so there is going to be some cost with getting it there. But I do agree that's probably the most likely area to put the infrastructure.
Thank you, Ethan. Ed?
Yeah, I think it's totally needed to get the security systems that we need in place in the door system. The other thing is that I think actually let's put it's really good to see that we're considering Wi-Fi now. It's if we're going to have a building we can hire out in a modern 21st century, Wi-Fi is extremely useful. My only question, and I'm sure this will happen, is that the Wi-Fi is workable in all areas of the community centre. So ACS to do those, make sure that is the case where they put their Wi-Fi points. I'm sure they will do that.
Thank you, Ed. Any other comments from anyone? If not, then can we vote on the proposal as a proposal in principle to allow the work to progress? Those in favour? Is everyone in favour, Delia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's it. That's the end of the meeting for tonight. Thank you for all attending, and thank you for the members of the public for viewing as well. Good night to all.